video is brought to you by MUBI, a curated streaming service that premieres a new film every day. Cher Horowitz is a fashion icon. Her wardrobe is a prominent character in Clueless, with outfits ranging from wonderful to wild. Some of the film's costumes are so iconic that today they're universal reference points, instantly emblematic of 90s fashion.
I'm more of a Dion fashion-wise. Dion's kind of crazy and colorful, and I love a good color block and a crazy print.
But did you ever think about the meaning behind Cher's most memorable looks? And are all those perfectly curated clothes an expression of power? Or are they actually hiding a teenage girl who feels powerless?
I'd like to see you have a little bit of direction.
I have direction.
Yeah, towards the mall.
Here's our take on what the fashion in Clueless tells us about being a teen girl in the 90s and today. Clueless introduces us to Cher almost simultaneously with her wardrobe, and the attention she gives to selecting her outfit tells us how important fashion is to her.
I get up, I brush my teeth, and I pick out my school clothes.
Mona May, the designer, says Cher's opening yellow plaid suit was chosen because Cher looks like a ray of sunshine and the queen of the school. As Vogue writes, matching sets and flashy suits are an easy, impactful shorthand for the queen bee. Both the outfit and the way she selects it announce just how much Cher likes to be in control. Her computer objectively declares if something is a match or not, just as Cher confidently lectures us on her various rules and judges everyone who doesn't live up to her idiosyncratic standards.
I don't want to be a traitor to my generation and all, but I don't get how guys dress today.
As she steps out into her high school world, we see how Cher's high-tech wardrobe reinforces her position of popularity at the school. Her bestie Dion's matching black suit and bucket hat were chosen to complement but not overpower. The duo's outfits are a play on the traditional school uniform, but instead of wearing a uniform to blend in, Cher and Dion wear theirs to stand out. Their shared eliteness stems from how others in the school can't match their level of fashion-forward self-assurance.
She's my friend because we both know what it's like to have people be jealous of us. And I must give her snaps for her courageous fashion efforts.
Cher and Dion even spar about their accessories, acknowledging that their fashion choices verge on the absurd, but delighting in that.
So, shopping with Dr. Seuss? Well, at least I wouldn't skin a collie to make my backpack. It's faux.
Which reminds us that so much of fashion is having the confidence of Cher and Dion to commit and pull it off. Dion and Cher set themselves apart from the rest of the school through their bold accessories, like Cher's iconic French beret when they set up Miss Geist and Mr. Hall, or Dion's florally adorned micro braids at the wedding. Dion's accessories in particular often incorporate elements of black style which have turned her into an icon today. According to Taylor Bryant of Nylon magazine, Dion was unusual for the era, as a fully formed black character who isn't a token and has her own personality that contributes so much to the movie. And like with Cher, a lot of Dion's character is expressed visually through a style that she takes a lot of pride in.
Perhaps you can explain how this cheap Kmart hair extension got into the backseat of your car. I do not wear polyester hair, okay? Unlike some people I know.
During gym class, we see Dion rocking a bandana as the uniform motif returns again. Everyone wears black and white, suggesting a very loose dress code they must follow, but here that's taken to a surreal extreme. These girls can flout the rules and eschew actual uniformity just as they walk all over their PE teacher.
Dion, you're up.
Oh no, Miss Stoger. I have a note from my tennis instructor and he would prefer it if I didn't expose myself to any training that might derail his teachings.
So that tells us these girls live in an elite, rarefied social class with a lot of entitlement and particular rules known only to insiders. The confidence and individuality of these girls' upper crust anti-uniforms highlights how out of place and vulnerable the newcomer Tai feels when she first enters in this scene in her oversized outfit, clashing with the form-fitting, hyper-fashionable black and white clothes of the others.
We've got to adopt her.
Cher, she is toe up. Our stock would plummet.
It's worth noting that Cher's and Dion's aesthetic was a big departure from the grunge trends of the 90s. According to Hot History, Clueless flew in the face of the nonchalance and androgyny of the grunge movement. The costumes do honor the spirit of youth culture and incorporate some grunge elements like safety pins and bucket hats, but they eschew the shapeless, baggy clothes and dark muted colors of the moment for classic cuts and bright colors. Cher even directly laments the state of fashion among her peers, at least for guys.
It looks like they just fell out of bed and put on some baggy pants
And the fact that Cher's style is a large part of what we think of as 90s fashion today says a lot about how being a fashion icon isn't chasing trends but starting your own ones. The central reason Cher can't get behind sloppy grunge is because, for her, clothes are an expression of power. They're her attempt to be in control.
Cher's main thrill in life is a makeover, okay? It gives her a sense of control in a world full of chaos.
Her opening computer algorithm even signals that Cher is seeking perfection through fashion, and she flexes that control at every opportunity. She wriggles out of tight spots with her father, blaming her fashion choices for the reason she's not home in time.
Hello?
Do you know what time it is?
Watch doesn't really go with this outfit, Daddy.
She relishes the opportunity to give Ty a makeover, an offer she frames as charity, but Dion explicitly says it's because Cher is seeking control. Taking Ty under her wing is really a way of reinforcing Cher's own self-image, worldview, and superiority.
I'm gonna take that lost soul in there and make her well-dressed and popular. Her life will be better because of me.
So as much as Cher feels her fashion gives her power and a sense of self, we can also see that selfhood is precarious and the power is limited. Speaking of fashion icons, Charlotte Gainsbourg's directorial debut will have its streaming premiere on MUBI this month. It's a personal portrait of her mother, the actress, singer, and face of the 60s, Jane Birkin. And that's not all. MUBI is also dedicating the month of August to another fascinating fashion-conscious woman, celebrating Tilda Swinton with an exclusive collection of her films titled The One and Only Tilda Swinton. If you love watching strong female characters on screen, MUBI is for you. And as one of our followers, you can get 30 days of MUBI for free. Just click the link in the description below to start streaming now. MUBI's team of curators handpicks every film they show, so there's always something new to discover. A dream come true for film lovers. Click the link in the description below to get 30 days of MUBI now. As the movie goes on, Clueless reveals that, despite being popular and wealthy and seemingly very together, Cher often feels very powerless. The most obvious example of the limits to fashion's power comes when Cher is robbed at gunpoint in her iconic red Alaya dress. She initially tries to get out of the situation by highlighting how important her dress is, but outside of school, her fashion knowledge is worthless.
Come on.
Oh no, you don't understand. It's like a totally important designer.
And I will totally shoot you in the head.
Cher's next party outfit also highlights the limited power of fashion. When she tries to leave the house in her white Calvin Klein slip, Josh and her father interfere.
You're not letting her go out like that, are you?
Cher, get in here.
What's up, Daddy?
What the hell is that?
This highlights the gap between teen girls' increasing spending power in the 90s and their powerlessness elsewhere in their lives. Cher has the money to buy a Calvin Klein dress, but not the permission to wear it.
It looks like underwear. Go upstairs and put something over it.
That white slip dress is part of a series of white outfits we see Cher wearing after we learn she's a virgin.
Cher is saving herself for Luke Perry.
It's a visual reminder that, while Cher attempts to project an extremely adult, savvy, and all-knowing persona, she's a lot more inexperienced in relationships and the world than she pretends to be.
Hi, how old are you? I'll be 16 in May. My birthday is in April, and as someone older, can I please give you some advice?
Throughout the movie, the costume designers use clothing to play around with Cher's age. They mix really juvenile outfits like strap tops over tees and dresses with bows under the bust with mature pieces for much older women like blazers, suits, and twin sets. This makes us feel like Cher is very much a person in flux, stuck between being a child and play acting as a totally poised, sophisticated woman.
I was just totally clueless.
Her attempts to become seductive are another window into Cher's limited power through fashion. When she's trying to draw Christian's attention, her tactic of showing more skin is highly obvious, yet she describes it to us as if it's sophisticated science.
Sometimes you have to show a little skin. This reminds guys of being naked, and then they think of sex.
When Christian asks her to spend the evening alone, she and Dion work hard to find the perfect outfit.
And costume decisions. I don't rely on mirrors, so I always take Polaroids.
Definitively casting off her white motif, they settle on a red slip dress, reminiscent of the red Alaya Elton was attracted to her in, but which, together with her makeup, also fits a fairly cliched idea of how to look sexy for a guy. The scene hammers home that Cher isn't really being herself in this look, as she offers us generic beauty magazine-esque advice about how to please a man while clearly feeling very out of control.
Whenever a boy comes, you should always have something baking. I'm still all red!
Well, I'm trying to make you as white as I can, Cher. Look, you're all flushed. You have to calm down.
And no amount of planning or color coordinating can make the night go as she plans. Christian is gay, and fashion can't stop heartbreak.
We're friends, right?
This becomes even more explicit in the scene when Cher freaks out because she can't wear the outfit she planned on for taking her driving test.
Lucy, where's my shirt?
Probably at the cleaner.
Oh, but today's the driving test. It's my most capable looking outfit.
Cher fails her test not because of her clothes, but because she hasn't focused on practicing driving skills. And the fact that she's fixating on what she wears instead of the content of the test points to how, more generally, she's getting too hung up on superficial appearances that distract from the deeper picture. We also see how fashion fails to transform what's inside when it comes to Ty's makeover. Afterwards, Ty seems to feel even more vulnerable and uncomfortable. Even though Cher's makeover succeeds at making her popular and attractive,
Oh, and we moved down for Cher.
it also makes Ty someone she isn't, something that's driven home visually in how Ty doesn't really look herself in the clothes Cher picks for her. That's not true power. And when Ty finally does get comfortable copying Cher's confident, popular girl persona, it's at the expense of the truly attractive parts of her personality, like her sweetness and authenticity.
Let's just talk when we've mellowed, alright? I'm outie.
What did I do? I've created some sort of a monster.
The character of Amber also demonstrates a disempowering form of fashion.
Do you prefer fashion victim or ensemble challenge? A clone.
While Cher is making choices, Amber is just flat out copying her. While Cher dresses with nuance, Amber is just chasing trends. Cher herself comments that while the girls may look similar from a distance, as two rich, pretty Beverly Hills cool kids, the differences between them come down to detail, creativity, and artistry.
Do you think she's prettier? She's a full-on Monet. What's a Monet? It's like the painting, see? From far away it's okay, but up close it's a big old mess.
Still, when Amber tries to copy Cher, Cher takes it really personally because it's like a little bit of her mystique is being chipped away.
Cher, is it the same dress that you was wearing yesterday? Was that you going through my laundry?
The degree to which it bothers Cher reveals how fragile her sense of power is when it's only based on appearance.
Cher, you look much better in that dress than she did.
Similarly, when Travis spills on her shoes, Cher gets upset on a level that puts a serious damper on her party fun.
Ruin my satin shoes, why don't you?
I'm sorry.
Like with the sexy red she wears for Christian, Cher's red party dress seems like a perfectly empowered, fabulous look. Cher and all her girlfriends, Ty, Dion, Summer, and Amber, all have elements of red in their outfits, while Cher's outfit is the scene stealer with its classic cut and bright color, marking her out as the main character. But as the night goes on and everything falls apart around her, the bold power her outfit was projecting is nowhere to be seen.
This guy with a gun held me up, took my money and my phone, and he yelled at me and he forced me to ruin my dress.
As Cher starts to develop real feelings for Josh, she nonchalantly introduces the idea that sometimes fashion can restrict and control her.
Sometimes I have more fun vegging out than when I go partying. Maybe because my party clothes are so binding.
And as her crush deepens, she becomes insecure about whether he sees her as only a fashionista.
Go out and have fun. Go shopping.
You think that's all I do? I'm just a ditz with a credit card?
Offhand remarks reveal that this has limited how she sees herself too, as if she doesn't really have other significant gifts.
I mean, he does dress better than I do. What would I bring to the relationship?
And she's sometimes paying too much attention to her fashion choices at the expense of things like schoolwork.
So, what'd you do in school today?
Well, I broke in my purple clogs.
When Cher hits rock bottom, she regains control over her life not through fashion, but through being in service to others. She sheds her perfect wardrobe, giving away several pieces to the Pismo Beach flooding relief effort, and even wears jeans.
I don't think they need your skis.
Daddy, some people lost all their belongings.
And Ty does the same. She goes back to liking Travis, who she wanted to be with all along, and returns to her signature grunge-inspired style, albeit with some updates indicating that she's grown through her journey in the film and is refining her personal style.
All right, Travis! I had no idea you were still motivated.
I did.
Clueless is a makeover movie in reverse. It challenges our perceptions around the power of appearance and shows us to go with our gut. Change isn't always positive. Our instincts are valuable, and the deepest makeovers aren't always physical. Cher's anxieties about control make her want to change people instead of looking at what makes them great.
I decided I needed a complete makeover. Except this time, I make over my soul.
Once she begins to interrogate that, she starts to see what is already wonderful about her friends.
And then I realized all my friends were really good in different ways.
In the final scene of the movie, we see Cher in a bridesmaid's dress, which means she hasn't chosen her outfit at all. But she's able to feel in control in other ways, while she and her friends can still continue to embrace their own signature stylistic expressions.
When I get married, I'm gonna have a sailor dress, but it's gonna be a gown. And then all my bridesmaids are gonna wear sailor hats.
Clueless is actually an adaptation of the Jane Austen novel Emma, transplanted from Regency England to mid-90s LA.
Mr. Martin is a respectable young man, but I cannot admit him to be Harriet's equal.
No.
The original book does occasionally toy with the importance of appearance. Harriet's eventual husband Robert Martin is, according to Emma, doomed to be a completely gross, vulgar farmer totally inattentive to appearances.
She could be a farmer in those clothes.
But Emma is more fundamentally a story about class.
The Martins are precisely the order of people with whom I feel I can have nothing to do. If they were very poor, I might hope to be useful to them in some way.
In Clueless, Cher is similarly status-obsessed, but it's not just socioeconomic status she's concerned with. Most of the students, at least in her circle at Bronson Alcott High, seem to come from wealthy families. Dion and Cher warn Ty about dating Travis because he's a Lodi.
Lodies generally hang on the grass, all over there. No respectable girl actually dates them.
But when they go to a Lodi party in the valley, the house seems huge and expensive. And when Cher collects donations for flood victims at Pismo Beach, Travis is able to part with a box of stuff just like everyone else.
Proper. This is really decent of you, Travis.
So the difference between Cher and Travis isn't necessarily money, but fashion. Status isn't determined just by what you have, but by what you wear. Emma Woodhouse has to learn to be more conscious of her privilege, and likewise Cher's fashion evolution shows her checking herself and her biased assumptions.
God, this woman is screaming for a makeover. I'm her only hope.
Just because someone doesn't dress according to her rules doesn't mean they don't have value. And that's why it's so important that Cher comes to see the beauty in Travis and Ty's grunge style without trying to make them look, act, and think more like her. Cher's journey is about deepening the power that early on she's expressing purely through fashion, and simultaneously becoming less judgmental of others to appreciate the gifts they bring to the table. According to The Guardian's Jess Cartner-Morley, Clueless is the best fashion film ever made, with some of the best costuming and finest one-liners about designers. But fashion is just part of the wider message. It's a story about how complicated life is for teenage girls, and how important self-expression is because of that.
Do you know the wounds of adolescence can take years to heal?
Oh, hi, friends! This is The Take on all of your favorite movies, TV shows, and pop culture.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And ring the bell for notifications.
We're gonna need a bigger screen.